Well, we have three problems in Maryland that seem to me to be broken. One is the politicalization of judges. We should have impartial judges, judges above politics, not having to go to the Republican or the Democratic clubs and not be able to speak about current cases anyway, but sort of prospectively address issues. So that's one thing. We want to have a merit-based system instead of a politically based system. The second is there was a Supreme Court case last year involving a West Virginia judge, which called into question the very nature of contributions to judges. When judges run, they first thing they do is pick up the phone and call the lawyers that appear before them and get money. And there's some issues about whether those judges ought to recuse themselves based on the Supreme Court case. The final issue, which is one that really motivates me here, is the lack of diversity on the bench in the state of Maryland. We have 24 jurisdictions, 2 of which are majority-minority, that is Prince George's County and Baltimore City. In the other jurisdiction, it is almost impossible for an African-American who gets appointed to be a judge by the governor to retain his or her position. One judge, in fact, lost twice in Baltimore County and now is on the Court of Special Appeals. These are qualified people that run, and it's the only election, and Tom has been around, I've seen elections, it's the only election where somebody's running against you puts your picture on their brochure. So it says, well, here's the African-American guy who's your judge. I'm the white guy who wants to be your judge. Vote for me. And it actually works. So for those 3 reasons, we're going to try and convert it to a retention ballot, which is the way it works is exactly the way it works now for the appellate level courts, Court of Special Appeals and Court of Appeals, which is there's a judicial nominating commission that sits in each of the counties, which are members of the local bar, citizens, and that kind of thing. They test for qualifications and merits. They call out from the applications 2 or 3 people. They then send those names to the governor. The governor then selects that person who he or she believes would be the best judge. They would then be on the ballot in the next year or 2, the next election, for yay or nay. So it's not a contested election, it's a retention ballot. And if the answer is yay, then you're on for the next 10 years.
And if the answer is nay?
Then it works the same as a vacancy. So somebody else can then you have another group of applicants that put in and go to the Judicial Nominating Commission, and you get a new
Given the
person.
anti-government mood we're in right now, if you had that kind of election this year, I'd get the feeling people not knowing the slightest thing about a judge would just say nay, because that seems to be what the voters doing this year.
Well, perhaps, and that's actually the interesting thing. I mean, nobody does know who their judges are,
right?
And so what happens is money can really influence who the judges become, and rather than merit. I mean, so the argument is, well, they ought to run for office just like the rest of the government people. But these aren't political people. These are people who want to become judges as the crowning point of their career. They've had a long career, a distinguished career as lawyers, and now they want to be a judge. They shouldn't have to subject themselves to the politics of the day.